Said that if she could figure out a way to get rid of them easily and effectively, that she would definitely look into it.
Now she's finally found the answer here at New Jersey's Vein and Vascular Institute. Dr. Charles Dietzig says she came just in time.
They can get bigger and more noticeable over time. The veins will become more engorged because withstanding that chronic pressure within the veins causes those veins to enlarge.
Dr. Dietzig prepares ultra-thin needles and syringes filled with a foaming solution called Asclera.
In this case, what we're looking to do is destroy the inside of the vein.
He uses a vein reading device to see below the skin, pinpointing where to inject.
Now we can see this big blue vein that's underneath the skin that is then feeding all of these little spider veins.
Now watch that large vein disappear. Next, he treats the unsightly network of spider veins behind Michelle's knees and upper thighs.
This is a very common area for women to get spider veins. You feel anything?
I barely feel it.
It will take a couple of weeks for the veins to actually vanish for good. 3 weeks later, Michelle is shopping for outfits she hasn't dared to wear in 20 years.
I never would have worn this before.
Even a pair of super short Daisy Dukes.
I feel great.
Pennsylvania, Maine, New Hampshire, New Jersey. This backseat driver is about to become the youngest person to visit all 50 U.S. states. And she was only born 10 weeks ago.
Papa's flying.
They're not flying, they're actually driving.
What's he doing up there?
Harper is on the epic road trip with her parents, Cindy and Tristan. The Canadian family's doing it all out of their Jeep Cherokee. Mommy and Daddy took a leave from work, packed up the apartment, and dipped into the savings account. They've already covered the East Coast. Can Harper say 50 States Club? She's patiently posing for a picture in every state, so she might even end up with a Guinness World Record. No word on when the family will finally visit the 50th state, but the parents say they hope to have more babies, and perhaps they'll take Harper and future siblings along for the ride to conquer the world. For InsideEdition.com, I'm Lisa Wojcicki.
And says she doesn't have any trouble meeting men.
Short men love tall women.
Kirsten Lindstrom is also 6'7" and plays volleyball. Brooke Rogers is 6'4".
I'm the shortest of all of them, and I wish I was taller.
Backstage, it's non-stop activity. Their legs got a touch-up and a final measurement.
Her legs are about 52 inches long.
The ladies are even coached on how to take on the steep steps in sky-high heels, as if they need the extra height.
You make sure you make contact with the back of that step.
It's showtime. They look like pros gliding down the catwalk, but sometimes those long legs can get in the way. Oops. After the show, the vertically challenged audience members were invited on stage. Now that's some high fashion.
Facts First presents incidences you won't believe happened. Number 1. Building the Hoover Dam. While the Hoover Dam was being built, 122 people died. The very first person to die was J.G. Tierney. He died on December 20th, 1922. The last person to die on the job passed away on December 20th, 1935, exactly 13 years to the day that the first person died. While this is a crazy coincidence, the name of the last person to die is even more a coincidence. His name was Patrick Tierney. He was J.G. Tierney's son. A huge coincidence. Number 2. Anne Parrish's book. Anne Parrish was an American novelist. In the 1920s, she was traveling to Paris with her husband. They were browsing used bookstores when she found one of her childhood favorites, Jack Frost and Other Stories. Well, she picked up the book and she showed it to her husband, explaining how much she loved the book when she was a girl. When her husband opened up the book, there was an inscription in the flyleaf. It read, Anne Parrish, 209 North Weber Street, Colorado Springs. It was Anne's actual book from when she was a child. What's even more amazing was the book made its way from the United States all the way to Paris. What are the odds that she would find her childhood book in a whole other country? Number 3. A deadly poker game. In 1858, a man named Robert Fallon was playing a game of poker. After winning $600, the other players found out that he was cheating and they shot him dead. The other men in the game didn't want to keep the unlucky $600 though, so they found another man to take the $600 and continue playing. The man ended up turning the $600 into $2,200 in winnings. When the police came to investigate the shooting, they let the man know that he had to return $600 of the money so that it could go to Robert Fallon's next of kin. Turned out the man who took over the hand was his next of kin. It was Fallon's son, whom he hadn't seen in 7 years. What are the odds? Number 4. Twin deaths. 2 twin brothers died within a few hours of one another. They were 70 years old at the time of their deaths. The crazy part is that the 2 men were on the same road in northern Finland when they died, but they were about 20 miles away from each other. According to the police officers at both scenes, accidents like these are extremely rare on the road where deaths occur. The fact that they were identical twins and they died the same way so close to one another is just spooky. Number 5. The Poe Coincidence. Edgar Allan Poe wrote a book in the 19th century called The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym. In the book, there was a shipwreck and 4 survivors were in an open boat for days. Rather than dying, the men on the boat decided to kill the cabin boy, Richard Parker, and they ate him. That was in the novel. Years later, in 1884, a real boat called the Mignonette was damaged at sea. 3 of the crew members and 1 cabin boy were forced into an empty boat for days. To save themselves, the 3 crew members killed and ate the cabin boy. Even crazier, the cabin boy's name was Richard Parker. Number 6. Something in common with a king. One day in Italy, King Umberto went to a small restaurant for dinner. It was his first time ever visiting this restaurant. But when the owner of the restaurant came over to take the king's order, the king realized they looked exactly alike. After the men started talking, they realized they had so many similarities that it was spooky. Both of the men had the same birthday, March 14, 1844. Both men were born in the same town. They both married a woman named Margarita. On the same day that the king was crowned the King of Italy, the man opened his restaurant. The last coincidence is really amazing. On July 29, 1900, the king found out that the owner of the restaurant had been shot and killed. At the moment, he was expressing regret regarding what had happened to a man he had so much in common with. He was assassinated by someone in the crowd, only hours after the restaurant owner died. Number 7. The Falling Baby. In Detroit in the 1930s, a man named Joseph Figlock was walking down the street when a baby fell out of a window high above the street. The baby fell on the man and the man broke the baby's fall. Fortunately, neither one of them was hurt. A year later, Figlock was walking by the same house when the same baby fell from the same window. Again, neither of them was injured. What are the odds that the baby's mother would be so negligent twice? And what are the odds that Mr. Figlock would be walking down the same street at the exact right time? Amazing. Number 8. Photographic coincidence. In 1914, a woman in Germany took photos of her infant son and she dropped the film at a store in Strasbourg to have it developed. When World War I broke out, she couldn't get back to the store. When the store was destroyed, she figured the picture was lost forever. 2 years later, she was in Frankfurt, over 100 miles away from where she took the photos of her son. She had a new baby daughter and she wanted to take photos. She went to a store and bought a photo plate and took the photos. When she went to have them developed, she found out that the film was a double exposure. On the photo was the photo of her son and her daughter. Somehow, her original photos were mislabeled. They made it 100 miles to a new store, and the woman purchased her own used film. What a crazy story. Number 9. Another twins coincidence. A set of twins was separated at birth. One man was named Jim Springer, the other man was named Jim Lewis. Neither of their adopted families knew that the other named the twin James. Both men started careers in law enforcement, and they both had carpentry and mechanical drawing skills. Even crazier, they both married women named Linda, and they both had sons. One twin named his son James Allen, the other twin named his son James Allen. Later, both of the twins got divorced, and then they both remarried women named Betty. The craziest coincidence is that both men owned dogs, and they both named their dog Toy. Number 10. The Killing Tree. In 1883, a man named Henry Ziegland broke up with his girlfriend, and she killed herself out of sadness. The girl's brother was angry with Ziegland for breaking his sister's heart and driving her to suicide, so he went after Ziegland and shot him. Right after, the brother killed himself. Ziegland, however, didn't die. The bullet grazed his cheek and went into a tree. Years later, Ziegland decided to cut that tree down. When it wouldn't come down, he decided to use dynamite. When the dynamite exploded, the bullet that was still in the tree shot out of the tree and hit Ziegland in the head and killed him instantly. He could only cheat death for so long. This sounds like something out of the horror film Final Destination, doesn't it? Of the 15 mind-blowing coincidences that you won't believe happened, I think this is probably the craziest. Number 11. The Taxi Coincidence. In 1975, a man was riding a moped when he was hit by a taxi and killed. A year later, the man's brother was riding his dead brother's moped when he was hit and killed. It was the same taxi that hit his brother with the same driver, and the same passenger was in the taxi. A lot of coincidences for one family. Number 12. The Omen. The Omen is a film made in 1976 about the devil himself. There are many scary coincidences surrounding the film, but this one is the craziest. The film crew hired a private jet, but the pilot canceled at the last minute. Soon after, the plane crashed onto the road and 2 cars crashed into each other. The pilot crashed into a car that was driven by his wife and his children inside. The pilot and his whole family were killed. Number 13. World War I graves. The very first soldier to die in World War I was buried just 7 yards from the very last soldier to die in that same war. Even more coincidental is that the 2 graves were facing each other, and the placing of the graves was not deliberate. Spooky. Number 14. Ohio car crashes. In 1895, there were only 2 cars in the entire state of Ohio. This was a time where it was not common to own a vehicle. And the crazy thing is that even though there were only 2 cars in the entire state, they crashed into each other. Ohio's a pretty big state. What are the odds? Number 15. Death can happen at any time. Danny du Toit was a South African astronomer. When he was 49 years old, he was giving a lecture to a group of people. At the end of his speech, he said that people should watch out because death could happen at any time. Right after the speech, he sat down and put a peppermint candy in his mouth. He choked on the candy and died, a very effective way of putting a point on the speech he just made. Subscribe for more.
America needs a secure border to keep drugs, dangerous criminals, and violent gang members out.
We've got to build a wall to...
Factsverse presents. When the principal hands a crying student's phone to an officer, he realizes that something is off. Many high school students fight against authority. They don't like beers and the school administration. There are some people
There it is. Can't beat the classics.
Can we just start it already?
He said he'd be right back.
Yeah, but that was like 20 minutes ago.
Pick him. All right, do a quick one. Tilted Towers then.
No, wait, guys, I'm back. Finally.
What took you so long?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that.
It's okay, just ready up.
I totally will. Just give me like 1 more minute.
What? Are you kidding me?
No, just start it. No, guys, I swear. Just 1 more minute. I just gotta finish something real quick.
God. What do you need to do?
One more second, I swear.
Seriously, if we're gonna wait for a moment of time, I might as well just get off and call it a night.
Wait, shh. What does that sound? It's playing Clash.
Oh my God.
All right, we're just gonna start it.
No,
guys, I'm almost done, I swear.
Everything we've done, all the sacrifices, the lives lost, the materials, it all comes down to this. I know that I may have let you all down in the past. Well, not this time. Feels like it's been years since the war began.
Guys?
Barely remember our days in Shifty Shafts, Greasy Grove, all that time we spent on...
Dude, it's been 7 minutes. We just started.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
We didn't even go to Greasy Grove.
Yeah, why do you always get so weird when we play this?
That's what separates me from the average player.
What are you doing?
Get down!
This is the kind of mindset you need if you want to make it to the top of the Royale.
Seriously, there's a team out there.
Just crouch.
See, this might seem like some kind of game to you three.
Whatever. If he gets knocked down, I get a scar.
But to me, in my mind,
I have a pistol. You have a rifle.
The best players get the best guns.
Fortnite is a way of life.
Yeah, no, you can't catch bullets in this game.
I know. Is someone gonna revive me, or what, we starting over?
Looks like you don't got a gun.
Neither do you.
Well, I guess we both dropped in the wrong house.
Yes, we did.
Can you guys see me? Why would you put that on now?
I don't know, camouflage?
We're inside of a house.
See?
This is so ridiculous.
Right, he's coming from the north though.
Come on.
Get a shot over here. Nice shot. Come over here now, revive me.
Damn, you got all of them? Yep. How are you so good at Fortnite, but so bad at public restroom cleaning? Yeah, I'm really bad at cleaning those, so. What? No, I'm talking about why are you so bad at publishing books? Yeah, I'm not a good writer either, so it makes sense. What? No, I'm talking about Can you just stop?
What?
I'm trying to get a sponsorship, all right?
Oh.
So can you please stop shouting out the other one? The V-Bucks don't grow on trees.
Sorry, I just find it weird that you can't even say the name pub.
Jesus, man! Wait, go for that high ground right there.